right. It's the new hit list on 102.7 Kiss FM. I'm Kayla. And I have Patrick Martin. Welcome back.
Hi, Kayla.
Oh my gosh, so excited to have you
I'm
here.
very happy to be here. It's so lovely to be back. I didn't know I'd be back so soon.
I heard that you had an interview with EJ. I'm
sure
not
did.
EJ, but hopefully you like me too.
You know what? Everyone deserves. This is just lovely. I'm happy to be with you too.
Well, happy holidays. Have you got your Christmas shopping done and everything?
I haven't even started. We have been on the road. We leave tomorrow morning again for the shows.
Busy.
I have got nothing done. But I am excited. We'll be back this weekend, and I'm actually staying in LA for the first time for Christmas. So my first ever warm Christmas.
Wow.
And I don't know what it's going to be like. We're going to get a tree and, do the kind of cute Christmas stuff, but it's 70 degrees out. So in Wisconsin, it's cold.
And I'm from the East Coast.
Cold, yeah.
Oh yes, I'm from Maryland. I live in Philadelphia, New Jersey. So coming here, it's like I miss it. Do you ever miss the snow in Wisconsin? And
I've always had thin skin, like I've never been good with the cold, but it's nice like going back, like because I always go back for the holidays. Usually, it's the first time I'm not. So going back, it's perfect because it's like it fits the feeling. We make a fire every day. I literally sit by the fire all day, every day, write, hang out, watch movies.
I love it.
And so that is going to be very missed. But I naturally am not drawn to the cold now.
Really?
Only for brief moments, knowing that I'm going back to the warmth of LA.
So if you had to compare, like, what are aspects that you love about Wisconsin, and then what are aspects that you love about LA?
Oh God, that's a big list. I mean, my family's all back home, so like that's number one. Like I wish I could spend more time with them. Culturally, I am very much a Midwestern boy. Like I don't really have a ton of friends. In all my friends are like, my best friend is like in finance, and my brother's a barber. Like all of my people are very kind of normal Midwestern folk. And even my friends in LA are like not necessarily in the creative fields. Some of them are, but the culture of home, I do miss sometimes because people are just content with a quiet life, a simpler life. Whereas sometimes the rat race of LA, you feel like people lose sight of what actually, including myself, which is why it's like, sometimes when I'm home, I'm like, this is not the worst. Like, because I always wanted to be above it. And now that I've been here for a while, it's like,
It's like you're always running to catch up to
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. You're always
Everyone's
chasing
always
something.
Yeah. The hustle and bustle. And that's what I love about the East Coast too. It's like everybody's just so chill over there. They're happy. And here it's like, I love how people work hard because I'm a hard worker as well. But it's just like sometimes you can't catch a break in LA.
No, and it is definitely a culture, and it's and again, like I love a lot of things here. And I don't, not to get so deep right off the bat, but like I really do find it difficult sometimes to like feel like you're staying afloat and feel content, to be like, I think your creativity sometimes can get smothered by a lot of the superficial things. And, one of my favorite artists is Bon Iver, Justin Vernon. He's also from Wisconsin. And his greatest work came from him isolating himself in a cabin in Wisconsin and like nothing else, none of the nonsense, none of the media, none of the socials, none of that stuff mattered. It was truly about like what he had to say, him just getting stuck in and creating something. And so like sometimes I'm like, you don't get that essence all the time here. It feels like, let's write a hit today. You know what I mean? It's like,
I feel like comparison is like the thief of joy. And being here for me, it's like you compare yourself to the next person all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you
quiet
out the noise?
It's living in Instagram. LA is like living in social media sometimes. God, we're in LA and we're actively just like, let's get out of here.
But how do you quiet the noise? Like, how do you stay grounded? How do you focus on your work and not look to the left and to the right about what other people are doing?
It comes in phases. There's definitely like, I think we're all susceptible to like looking around into being like, oh God, this person, like, for example, there's this kid, Tom Grennan, who's this big artist in the UK. We studied at this university together in London, and we sat in a pub together, both played this like little acoustic show, and we talked for like an hour or two just about our dreams and everything. And he's literally playing sold out arenas all over London.
Wow.
And I'm still opening and still, trying to get to those places. So like seeing that, it's like, God, we started at the same time. So that's really hard. But then I have moments of like, you know what, this is your journey. Everyone's is different.
Yes.
I look at, there's endless examples. I think of actors more, I guess, that have made it far later. But it's hard. I think that my partner, my animals, and my friends are the biggest piece of like nothing else. Like have so much joy and wonderful experiences through those relationships. So those kind of help me ground. But it is hard, and it's a constant seesaw back and forth of like, you know what? I feel great. I feel confident in my art. I know the cream rises. I know I'm going to get where I want to go and connect with people. And then other times I'm like, oh God, everyone's going viral and I'm not.
Yes, it can be difficult, but I feel like you are on the right path.
Yeah.
Your music is amazing. So let's get into that. So this show, the new hit list, is all about new things, new artists, new people, new vibes. So when you want a good night out in LA, you want to hear good music, meet new people, where do you go?
I'm a hermit.
Oh, really? So you don't go out?
I don't go out. I honestly, like, to me, a good weekend night is like going and watching a spooky movie with my friends, or like just going out to dinner. Like I don't drink, and I can get into that whole thing. I have a phobia that stops me from drinking. But so going out has never been my scene because of that. Like in college I did, but that was like house parties and stuff. You can easily just be like, oh, I'm going to go home after a little while. But I will say there's this jazz club that my girlfriend and I really enjoy. But that is the kind of place that I would go out and listen to jazz. Like that makes me sound like some 60-year-old man.
That's the type of vibe. So that is the type of vibes that you like to surround yourself with, like quietness, good chill vibes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the furthest thing from like a club goer, or like I like going to shows. But yeah, I've always been a little bit of like I romanticize the like staying on a Friday night and painting. Like that's kind of who I am.
I saw your TikTok and you do paint.
I do.
And you paint very, very well. Do you come from like a creative family?
Well, thank you. It's luck, honestly. Like it's luck and just like painting on the same thing over and over again until like, oh my God, something worked. So it's certainly not because I know what I'm doing. But anyway, both my parents my dad's a barber, and both my siblings work at the barbershop with him. And then my mom owns a silk screen and embroidery business. So like not creative in the sense of like free creativity. There's very much a specific outcome of like, this person wants their hair to look like this. But I do think there is some creativity in that. And my mom and also her work, there's a lot of art involved. There's a lot of screen printing. So they definitely both have that, but I'm not from a traditional, like, oh, my mom was an actress on Broadway and my dad, had a studio my whole life. Like that was not, neither of them had creative endeavors as hobbies.
Got it.
So everyone in my family can sing though.
Really?
Yeah. No one like doesn't have pitch. Everyone is a good singer. So maybe that's where it comes from.
Well, even through like your sense of style, I mean, how you dress now, and I was obviously scrolling through your Instagram and seeing like what you wear when you perform, and it just like fits you and your personality just from talking to you. How do you think that your sense of style and your personality coincide with your artistry and the music that you put out?
I mean, I've always been flamboyant, I want to say. Like, I've always wanted to be the friend who has like the most kind of like the style that's like pushing a little bit. And if you looked at what I dressed like in high school, you'd be like, yeah, right, kid. Like you wore Abercrombie. Like, but where I'm from, the things,
Hollister days.
yeah, exactly. Where I'm from, like I was still the one who was like trying to like stay ahead of like what was cool, and like I've always been into it. Like I was the creative friend in my friend group. But I definitely like, you can tell like I'm very inspired by the classic rock era, like the Bowies, the Mick Jaggers, Freddie Mercury, all of that kind of era. That's what I grew up on. That's what I've always been inspired by. It's kind of my evergreen music. Like I go through a lot of different phases of what I'm listening to and different genres and everything. But like the thing that I am always kind of playing and always have on repeat is classic rock music. Like
Nice.
that's very much what I come from, and that kind of the energy of performing. And so I kind of always was drawn to that 60s, 70s style. But it does evolve. It does change. Like this, I don't even know. I got this at this place in Iguana. I get a lot of my clothes from this vintage shop in Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
Um,
So you like thrifting and going to consignment shops and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Me
as
too.
much as possible, honestly. Like, again, it's a romanticized thing. I love old things. I love things that have a story, that have character. Like, if you saw my apartment, like, almost all of the furniture except for our couch is antiques or, like, thrifted stuff. Because it's just, like, I don't know. There's something about it. I hate shiny and new, clean lines.
Yeah.
Like, we just came from Paris and London a couple days ago, and there's so much character. There's so much, like,
That's the word, character.
yeah, there's just so much of a story behind things that have weathering and age. And I guess it goes through to my clothes and the way I like to make music. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to emulate, tape and saturated vocals and stuff. And it's all this romanticizing of the old.
So for the people who are just now discovering Patrick Martin, for the people who are just now being introduced to you, how would you describe everything about you or just your music in 3 words?
Oh God, 3 words. I think I've done this before. I think eclectic, vintage, and then I know I said iconic in my first iHeart interview.
Iconic. I love that.
And that's like very like, that sounds pretentious, but I think it's a way for me to feel like I'm capable of becoming an artist that is, in that era, or in that era. That's not it. In that status, I
Yeah.
guess. Even though I don't seek that, I don't want to be known.
Well, I love that you have the confidence in your music that you say this music is timeless.
See, the music, exactly. The
Yeah.
music is the part that I feel
Very
can
confident
become
about.
exactly.
Mhm.
But like, I don't often.
It's weird to say it about yourself, like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to be iconic, but like you believe so much in your music that this is going to be timeless. I know for years and years and years, this is going to last.
Yes.
And people are going to be
That
playing my music to
exactly.
their
And
grandkids. Like,
that is exactly what I'm referring to. I personally don't have as much of a dream of being this like Madonna type figure. Like that's too much. that lifestyle is a lot. You like the world is begging you for everything. I want like my favorite artists are like Bon Iver, Justin Vernon. He could walk around even LA. I think a lot of people would have no clue who he is. Kevin Parker of Tame Impala.
mhm.
LA, maybe he'd have a little bit harder time, but like their art is what leads the way. And like, of course I'm into fashion, and a lot of my vibe, I guess, is outward facing, but like I definitely like dream to have the music be the
Yes.
driving thing. I think especially now when like, I think Jimmy Iovine said recently, like fame has replaced talent. Like I want the art and the, I guess, talent of creating it to be the driver. And then if somehow I have to be a public figure, I'll figure it out. But that's definitely like low on my list.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to say. I mean, what if that happens? I mean, sometimes, a song overnight can become the biggest thing in the world, and then you do shoot up to Madonna status. And then what?
Well, I don't think, I don't know. I think shooting now, especially like everyone's, people can be famous so easily now, but maintaining it is a different thing. And I think that like, for me, I've always kind of been slow and steady. And so I think that like, one, I don't see me just like getting sprung into stardom, but I love I love doing stuff like this. I love talking to people, connecting with people. Um, I just think that I would really maintain a sense of privacy and a sense of like mystery, I guess. Not because I want to be cool and, suave, but because that's how I want to be able to live
Hmm.
a normal life in a lot of ways. And I'm not the kind of person who thrives or seeks out like people wanting to know what I have for breakfast every day.
Right.
Like, I'm not that person. I don't want to be that. I want my music. I want to perform. I want my fans to show up at a show and maybe less about what I'm doing in my day-to-day life.
Right.
Because that's, to me, that's why I'm in this.
Well, I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, but first of all, I love you and your personality, and I feel like you are so genuine and you're so authentic. And I have interviewed so many people over the years, and they start that way, and then they get wrapped up in social media, and there become so many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to their music, and they kind of lose who they
Oh,
were at their core and how they started, and they all like want to stay low key and be true to their music, but you hear their music change, and you hear their personality kind of change. So how do you plan on like keeping true to yourself? Is it the people around you? What is it?
I mean, I think that is like it's inevitable. I think like the first person that came to mind when you said that is Kendrick. Like I
Mm.
am a huge Kendrick fan, and at the end of the day, it's your experiences that are kind of your people who are true artists like him. Like he's talking about his life. These are real stories. So like as things evolve, like his life experience from K Dot and from his first albums,
Right.
he was talking about growing up in the hood and growing up in like this place that is about the opposite of where he is now. So that kind of disconnection, that disconnect between who he was when people first fell in love with him and who he has become, that's natural. And so I don't know if there is a way to maintain that like you said, like staying low key and staying kind of like as far as like what your story is, because you no longer live that life that you
True.
originally came up in. But I do think that like a way of staying, humble, staying grounded for me is always the people I'm surrounded with. Like has always been that way, will always be that way. Like my friends, my partner, my family, like they will always be the things around me. And personally, I don't party. I don't really seek out the limelight in like that kind of like the things that can really take you away from yourself and where you kind of come from. So like if I were to like, my song to be big, and obviously your life changes, you travel, you're performing everywhere, you're doing interviews, all this stuff. But I do think now more than ever, there needs to be a balance, and artists need to like really put their foot down on
Hmm.
like maintaining their mental health for the sake of maintaining that sense of grounding. Like
Yeah.
I think of Louis Capaldi, like he's literally fallen off the face of the earth, and he's taken that time for himself because the pressure and the expectation that the industry, the people that work for him, the world put on him, it breaks anyone. It can
Hmm.
literally, you could be the strongest person, it can break you.
Yeah. I've seen it
So
with so many artists, Selena
yeah,
Gomez, even, and they come
exactly.
out and they say that they need to take a break. And people forget that you guys are human too. You guys go through mental health issues just like the rest of us.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm obviously I've had caffeine today. I'm awfully chatty. I could go on and on, but like it really is something that I I personally, and this is where my people surrounding me like really help me like set those boundaries, because at the end of the day, like this is business.
Yeah.
People want to make money. People want to push, 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 but it is at the expense of your mental health in a lot of ways, because I just got off a month tour, and it's exhausting and it is demanding, and I'm a support act. Like, it only gets bigger. For me, that means that setting more boundaries, making sure that I'm taking care of myself physically, mentally, like those things are what are going to keep me in a place that I can do this long term. Because
Yeah.
I'm not doing drugs. I don't have that,
Yeah.
back in the day, like, well, we'll just do coke all day and then we'll do this at night. Like, that's how they maintained.
Yes.
But not, I unfortunately I can't do drugs. My brain doesn't want me to. And so I am very much like, I need to stay on top of
Yeah.
it. And it is a lot of work. And actually in therapy, just talked a lot about like how to maintain all of it, how to keep a balance and keep priorities, keep your baskets relatively even so that you're not putting all the energy in this one. And then, oh, this one has fallen to the wayside. And now my relationships are struggling. My self connection with myself is, on the rocks, whatever it may be.
Well, obviously the goal is to have your music in the hands of as many people as possible. Like, it's really precious to you. You want other people to have it and feel what you feel when you created it. And nowadays, the way that, music is kind of blowing up nowadays is TikTok and it is social media. So you kind of have to put yourself out there in that way. But do you ever feel the pressure to create a hit, go viral, or create a dance challenge to a song? And I know like your music isn't really the most poppy. And that's kind of the stuff that everybody's doing the challenges to and stuff. Do you feel like you need to eventually go into that lane in order to attract more people to your music? Or is that not the route you're ever going to go?
No, that's definitely not like the route. I think that, like, again, earlier in my career, maybe when I was like a little bit younger, and like I would have fallen into that. And I do still like feel that pressure. And of course it's like, part of you is like, oh God, if I just had this song that could do this, then I can have the platform to then make what I want. That's everyone's kind of instinct. It's like, oh, I can just have a hit and then I can make whatever I want and people, my fans will stay. But at the end of the day, like, if the music that I love and the music that comes out of me doesn't fit in a box of what people think is viral on social media, sorry. Like, but the thing is like anything there's so many people and there's so many, I do think one of the valuable things about like how things work on TikTok is it's not always a pop song. Like, I have really good friends, like there's this group called The Rare Occasions. My friend Jeremy is in, and they're like a garage rock band. And TikTok has literally changed their career. They went from, Jeremy did a tour with me as the bass player, because his band was kind of in hiatus and they were, I don't know what was happening at the moment, but like it went from that to now I think they have like, I don't know, almost 10 million monthly listeners. Wow. They're touring the country. They have a super strong foundational fan base, but it's alt music. It is not this like, let me do this cute dance. Like, it's cool. So it's like, there is ways for that to happen. And that, for me, is how, if it were to happen for me, I would hope that's how it happens, where it's like the music is leading and it's not me desperately trying to make a video that like has the best hook and it's perfectly crafted to go viral. And because it's so organic, like I want the music to lead the way. And I know like, the label and everyone really wants you to lean into like, you have this personality, people want to see it. And it's like, I will figure out how to show it, but it's definitely, I'm always going to want the music to lead the way. And then if people discover me as a person after and be like, oh, I actually think he's delightful, great. But the art will always be driving, because at the end of the day, that's like the people I love most. That's how they've done it. And at the end, like, I
want it to be real.
Yeah, I want it to be real. I'm just a person. Like,
well, speaking of TikTok, switching gears a little bit, and you mentioned this earlier, so I'm gonna say it, because I saw on you put on your TikTok that you have a fear of, what's it called?
Emetophobia.
Whatever that means. So the fear of vomiting,
yes.
Right? So, and you said that you make a lot of life decisions based off of this fear.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, when you go on stage, I mean, naturally, wouldn't you feel like you're about to throw up because I'm about to go on stage and perform? So how is it for you, like, performing, having that emetophobia? phobia, whatever
I'm
it's called.
so happy you asked me. This is something that I have never talked about like publicly in this way, and I have wanted to, and it's something I'm so oh, I'm almost passionate about like this phobia because it is so like there's a lot of people out there that have it.
More than you would think.
Yeah, more than you would think, but like it's one of those you want to connect with people who also share it. But to answer your question, I don't know how I ended up being a musician because my entire life, I was in choir, and my mom always wanted us to be in choir, and it was kind of this thing. Like my siblings were in it, so then I was in it. But every single show I would literally be anxious for weeks leading up to like the Christmas concert and having to go on stage in front of all these people and sing. And there was times where I would literally, as we're walking to go on stage, I would just dip out, and there would just be a hole in the right, like where I'm supposed to be, because I was so anxious.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would actually just mouth the words because I couldn't physically sing because I was so anxious, and I was like, my breathing was not regulated. I've had panic attacks on stage. There's actually it was this Men in Tights thing that we were doing in this men's choir in high school.
Men in Tights?
It was so ridiculous. But I was so anxious. I was literally having a full like peak panic attack on stage during it. And I remember it vividly and thinking, I can never do this again. But somehow I have chosen a career of performing, and I still get anxious sometimes before stage, but I have gotten to that point of like, I've walked through the fire, and now I'm like, kind of crave it. I really love to perform. I get lost in it in a way that I would if I were just playing alone in my bedroom, which used to be this comfort for me, like just playing my guitar and singing myself. It's grounding. It's like the purest form of presence. And now I actually find that on stage. So I think it's one of those, like, I just forced myself and pushed through that like discomfort. And then now it's something that I love to do. And so I do still get anxious, and I do still have like, because with the phobia I have linked to it is like, God, I drank too much caffeine. Forgive me, everyone.
No, you're good. I love this stuff.
With it, it's a fear of embarrassment and a fear of being in a situation you can't escape. So what could be more embarrassing than being on stage and feeling sick and feeling panicked, and you have to like run off stage mid-song or whatever it may be. So that is still something that's like in my head, but I don't know. I just keep going, and I just like, at the end of the day, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, that's a testimony for anybody that has any fear. It doesn't even have to be like that specific fear. I mean, it's like, you can get through it. You can push through it. You might have the fear of being embarrassed and being rejected and let down. But man, look at what you're doing now.
Yeah.
You just got off a tour. You're performing in front of so many people, and you have this fear that at any moment you could like park in front of everybody, but you're still doing it. And so that's just like a testimony to your fans. Like, you can do it. You can do anything.
Yeah,
I can.
And I certainly never like, my intention was never to be like, look at what I've done. You can do it too. But I really do, more than anything, just hope that like people who do share this phobia, and like really any phobia that kind of has a say in how they make decisions in life, like I want to just connect with them and just be like, no, we can do this. Like,
it's possible.
It really is, because like flying, oh my God, the flight back from London, so turbulent. I was losing my mind. And there was a guy in the back row, like near me, he was like, what is happening? This has been going on the entire, like, he was so mad. And I was like, felt a little bit like, yeah, dude, what the hell? This sucks. But like, I still fly. I'm getting on a plane tomorrow morning. Like, it's that like, you know what? You're going to survive. You're going to be okay. And whatever your biggest fear is of happening, if it would happen, if your plane goes down, God forbid, that's
probably not gonna
that's
happen.
one in a millions and millions and millions. Like, that's very rare. But like,
at the end of the day, you're gonna survive.
yeah,
and you're gonna come out stronger for it.
yeah, that's the that's the
I love
truth. You
that.
just keep on pushing.
Keep going.
But
All right, let's get into Dandelion Eyes.
yeah,
We were playing the song on the new hit list. I love the song. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
yeah. I mean, it came from a note in my phone. I just had Dandelion Eyes written in my notes, and then I was in this session with these incredible writers, Tim Pagnotta, Brian Phillips, Joe Kirkland, and we just kind of started spitballing. I was just reading through my notes and saw it, and then that kind of was like a thread that we started pulling on. And I think Joe came up with this melody that like the Dandelion Eyes go wild and so that was like the first like, okay, we need to follow this. And then we just kept going. And then the story kind of turned into like, I turned it into this like, oh, it's the nickname for Earth. And it's this cosmonaut looking at our planet from a distance and like kind of romanticizing like, oh, I miss life. I miss green. I miss nature. I miss, you know, just the anything natural because you're in this tin can. So that's kind of the story that I kind of shaped it into. Because that's kind of, I'm obsessed with space, but yeah.
Okay. Well, people are now doing covers of it on TikTok. I mean, I saw that it was on Love Island.
Yeah.
What does that kind of stuff mean to you?
I mean, Love Island is definitely it wasn't my full Love Island experience because it was very much a background. It wasn't like my song was the big kiss moment, but
I mean, it's something.
It was something.
It was just the instrumental.
Exactly. It was
on
something.
there.
And also like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I'm watching Love Island as a normal fan, as a normal person watching and hearing it. I was like, wait. It was that?
Is that my song?
Exactly. And I look at my girl, I'm like, no way. And then we rewind and we're like, I've made it. So it was a really cool moment.
That is incredible.
It was, it's people who watch Love Island and anyone who's had their music in it know that it's like, it's a little special place in our culture that it's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, really big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so before I let you go and stuff, how this year is coming to a close, what are you most proud of?
Maintaining my sanity.
Man.
No, I'm
all of us, man.
Yeah, right. No, I think just the ability, like all year I was so stressed and anxious and my poor partner had to deal with me. Just what's next? Like the song is out. People are listening, but like it hasn't fully connected. We don't have any tours planned. And then for kind of taking initiative and reaching out to Andy's team and getting on that tour with Andy. And then the ball just started snowballing. And, we just did the show in Paris and now we're doing these shows with Lainey. Just having, I guess, the ability to like keep pushing even when I was like, nothing's happening. Like, nothing's going to happen. Like, continuing to push and kind of get to this place where the song is growing, it's still spreading. We're really kind of, we've been patient and now it's like it's happening in some way. So yeah, and just surviving another year of chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
What can your fans expect in 2024?
God, I hope a lot of music. I'm begging my label to. And, they hear me. They're well aware. So this isn't news to them that I'm like desperate to put out more music. So hopefully a lot more music. And I want to keep touring and hopefully have my first solo run.
Okay.
That would be magic because I have so many ideas for a live show that I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is new hit list. We're always introducing new artists and new music. What are some new artists and new songs that you are listening? What is on your playlist that you think everybody should know about? Of course, your music, but
there's this little artist called Lana Del Rey that some people may. I've been listening to the new Lana album. People always ask me this, and in the moment, oh, you know what? Perfect, new artists. There's this group called Rabel. Found them on TikTok actually, and it's like this perfect balance of like, it's strokesy, it's kind of like keen, it's like moody alt rock stuff. There's this song, I can't think of the name. Sorry guys, I really wanted to shout you out. But I'm obsessed with this song. I can't stop listening to it. And yeah, Rabel, everyone should listen to them.
Okay.
And another small band. They're just coming up called Arctic Monkeys. That people.
Okay, Arctic Monkey. I will
No,
look them up.
wait. You Shirley, I'm joking, right?
Oh no, I thought you were.
Oh my God,
I thought you were serious.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you never know the names nowadays. I mean,
they're one of the biggest fans on the planet, and I am like their biggest fan in the world. But I listen to they're my number one band for the year. Okay, I can never think of what I'm listening to other than the people I listen to for hours and hours, which is Arctic Monkeys. You should listen if you haven't, because they're one of the best bands in the world.
Oh my gosh. Patrick Martin, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on the new hit list. Please come back.
I will.
You're always welcome here at KISS.
Hopefully next time I can speak less.
No, I love it. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.